The Vatican is one of the most important religious institutions in the world, and as such, it has been linked to numerous mysteries and legends over the centuries. One such mystery is the connection between the Vatican and the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is a legendary object said to have been used by Jesus Christ during the Last Supper, and it has been the subject of numerous stories and legends since the Middle Ages. But what is the truth behind the Holy Grail? Is it a real object, or just a myth? And if it does exist, what secrets does it hold? Before diving deep into this myth, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That way, you'll never miss out on any of our future uploads. The Holy Grail is said to possess many powers, including the ability to heal the sick and to provide endless sustenance. It is also believed to have the power to confer immortality on those who drink from it. According to legend, the Holy Grail was brought to Europe by Joseph of Arimathea, who was said to have caught Jesus' blood in the cup after the crucifixion. One of the most famous stories linking the Vatican to the Holy Grail is the legend of the Templars. The Knights Templar were a religious order that was active during the Middle Ages, and they were said to be in possession of the Holy Grail. According to legend, the Templars brought the Holy Grail to the Vatican, where it remained hidden for many years. Some theories suggest that the Holy Grail may still be hidden somewhere in the Vatican, waiting to be discovered. Another theory linking the Vatican to the Holy Grail is the idea that the Grail is actually a metaphor for knowledge. According to this theory, the Holy Grail represents the wisdom and knowledge of the ancient world, which was preserved and protected by the Catholic Church. This theory suggests that the Holy Grail was never an actual physical object, but rather a symbol of the knowledge that the Church possessed. Over the centuries, the story of the Holy Grail has been told and retold in countless forms, from medieval legends to modern novels and films. In many of these stories, the Holy Grail is depicted as a physical object, often hidden away in a remote location. In some versions of the legend, the Grail is guarded by knights, who are sworn to protect it at all costs. In other stories, the Grail is sought after by heroes and adventurers who must overcome a series of trials and challenges in order to claim it. But despite the many stories and legends that surround the Holy Grail, its true nature and location remain a mystery. Some people believe that the Holy Grail is hidden somewhere in Europe, while others believe that it is located in the Middle East. There have been many alleged sightings of the Grail over the years, but none of these claims have been verified. Some historians even argue that the Holy Grail is nothing more than a myth, and that it was never a real object to begin with. Notwithstanding the uncertainties surrounding the Holy Grail, many people continue to search for it to this day. Some are driven by a desire for spiritual enlightenment, while others are motivated by the prospect of gaining great power and wealth. But the quest for the Holy Grail is not without its dangers. Many who have sought the Grail have met with tragedy and misfortune, and some have even lost their lives in the pursuit of this elusive object. One of the most famous Grail seekers was the medieval knight Sir Galahad. According to legend, Galahad was pure of heart and was therefore deemed worthy to search for the Holy Grail. He set out on his quest with the help of King Arthur and a group of other knights. Along the way, Galahad encountered many challenges and obstacles, including battles with dragons and other monsters. But he never lost sight of his goal, and in the end, he was able to find the Grail and achieve his quest. Others have claimed to have found the Grail themselves. In 1913, Otto Rahn, a German historian and adventurer, believed he had found the Grail in the Pyrenees Mountains. He claimed that the Grail was guarded by the Cathars, a group of Christian heretics, and that he had deciphered the clues that led him to its location. However, his claims were met with skepticism. In 1939, Rahn was arrested by the Gestapo and accused of homosexual activity. He was released, but he died shortly afterward under mysterious circumstances. Another famous Grail seeker was the French writer Rene Ganon. Ganon, who became interested in the Grail in the early 20th century and wrote extensively about its symbolism and meaning. But his interest in the Grail eventually led him into the world of esotericism and occultism, and he became involved with a number of secret societies. He died in 1951, but his writings on the Grail continue to inspire people today. In 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of all the Knights Templar, accusing them of heresy and other crimes. Many of the knights were tortured and executed, and their wealth and property were seized by the king. The search for the Holy Grail has also been the subject of numerous works of literature, from the medieval Arthurian legends to the modern-day novels of Dan Brown. In these stories, the Grail is often depicted as a powerful artifact that can grant eternal life or the power to heal any wound. The search for the Holy Grail has continued into modern times. In the early 20th century, a group of writers and artists known as the Inklings became fascinated with the Grail. The group included such famous authors as J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and they explored the themes of the Grail in their writings. One of the most famous Grail stories of this era was written by T.S. Eliot's The Waste Land, which included a section inspired by the Grail legend. The Grail legend has inspired countless interpretations and adaptations over the centuries. In the 19th century, the Grail became a popular subject for poets and artists who were drawn to its mystical qualities and rich symbolism. The Pre-Raphaelite painters, for example, created many works inspired by the Grail, including William Morris's tapestries depicting the Grail Castle and Dante Gabriel Rossetti's painting of King Arthur's departure for the Grail quest. In recent years, the Vatican has become more open to discussing the legend of the Holy Grail. In 2011, the Vatican hosted an international conference on the Holy Grail, which brought together scholars from around the world to discuss the history and meaning of the Grail. This conference helped to shed new light on the connection between the Vatican and the Holy Grail, and it provided a forum for scholars to exchange ideas and theories about this fascinating topic. Notwithstanding the continued fascination with the Holy Grail, many people today believe that it is nothing more than a myth. Some historians argue that the Grail legend was invented by medieval writers as a way to promote the ideals of chivalry and spiritual purity. Others suggest that the Grail was a symbol of the divine feminine, representing the power of the goddess in a world dominated by male authority. In conclusion, the Vatican's connection to the Holy Grail is a fascinating and enduring mystery that has captured the imaginations of people around the world for centuries. Whether the Grail is a physical object or a symbol of knowledge, it is clear that the story of the Grail has had a profound impact on the Catholic Church and on Christian mythology as a whole. As scholars continue to study and explore the legend of the Holy Grail, it is likely that new insights and theories will emerge, adding to the rich and complex history of this intriguing topic. Thank you for watching. Do you think the Holy Grail is a myth or it's real? Drop your comment below. Please like and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating videos like this one.